Hello, Star Wars players. Welcome to another exciting episode of Star Wars CCG Holotheatre. My name is Jerry Queso Sauce. With me, as always, is Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi guys. Yeah, it's a pretty exciting day. We don't have a guest, so you guys are stuck with us, unfortunately.
Stuck with
But
us, but we
stuck with
have
us.
like
Yeah.
30 cards to show you, so,
Is it 30?
something like that. I think I counted the other day and it's right around 30, maybe.
Uh,
But some of them have already been spoiled. We'll
a
kind of
lot of
gloss over
them. Yeah, a
them.
lot of them have. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of them, but
But there's a lot of a lot of stuff that y'all haven't
yeah,
seen yet, and
you'll
we're
get our.
pretty excited.
And we'll go over the ones that have already been spoiled, and you'll get a little bit of our takes on them.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah, like we had a
so
couple on our show last or 2 weeks ago, but
well,
and
yeah.
then last week we had Moff Gideon from Hayes, and so we talked pretty at length
Mhm.
about him and some of the other ones.
And
But
then Chris Goglin doing his Monday night stuff. He spoiled a few. I know
yeah,
he's.
he got a fun one
Oh
on
yeah,
Monday's show, the
yeah.
slip
How
siding
how
away.
did he get to do it? I know he's in the Hall of Fame, but I mean, what has Chris Goglin done
Yeah,
for me lately?
he must have just pulled on the Hall of Fame chain
I
and
wouldn't
made that
say. Oh no, no. What did he? You know what? Maybe he's got the Chris Kelly wrapped around his thumb or something. I mean,
they're
in the OCS, I want to.
East Coast bros.
Yeah. I mean, at least Chris Goglin doesn't like the Yankees.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think he
That is
likes
fair.
baseball. At
Well,
least I don't know.
if
I
he
don't know
does,
if he
if he
has.
does, he doesn't like the Yankees. That's what
Hey,
matters. So,
that is what matters.
we got a lot bit of stuff to show. So why don't we recap some of the stuff that has been released already?
Okay,
I'd say
sure.
let's go with the one that Hayes actually talked about last week,
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. So honestly, for me, there is nothing I don't like about this card.
Yeah, he seems pretty
He's
rad. Like
really, really, really good.
Destiny
Uh,
3, Power 3 draws Destiny, and can pilot, and then the whole like download an Imperial Stormtrooper for 2 force
yeah.
minus 2 force.
and,
Like you can get
and
Stormtrooper
again, you can
Garrison.
get Stormtrooper
Uh,
Garrison. So the other thing is, I was thinking about this today. There's a plethora of decks that he's good in because of that. The -1. So rebels here are power -1. Well, that works really well in a lot of decks, and the adjacent sites. Well, if you're playing Ralatier, all the rebels are -1, and there's a lot of rebels right now. I mean, Ahsoka's really good, Luke's really good, Leia's
and every
not.
single character in no idea.
Well, I mean, Ray's sometime played in no idea.
Well, I was
Diplo runs a lot of them. Uh, but yeah, I mean, having another ISB leader is good for ISB. He's Destiny 3. Um, I'm trying to think of like other stormtroopers. I mean, he can get like Stormtrooper Cadet who will.
Stormtrooper Patrol, or there's some
Yeah,
unique Stormtroopers out there.
yeah,
Thanks for your subscription. Your
yes.
username is hard to pronounce. Lalokin, Lalokin. That's what I'm gonna say.
Sounds like a
And be bad.
Pokemon.
Does kind of like a
Yeah.
Pokemon. So, but hey, we appreciate your patronage. Thank you very much. In
Yes,
six
thank you.
months, gets you a different foil, I think. So,
Are they the same as last year? Because I want to say it was Chopper.
yeah, the Chopper was one of them, and like the Inquisitor
Yeah.
was one of them, and
And then
Ezra was one
Ezra
of
was
them.
another one. And if you do
And
like
then
what a year, it's
the 12-month is the map objective. Yeah,
yeah,
I have
which is
that.
amazing. Well,
Yeah, it's freaking rad. So,
I have him at foil map objective too because I'm special.
hey, me too. But I earned it with the my Amazon
I
Prime Twitch subscription. So
I earned mine by knowing things. But yeah,
hey,
Moff Gideon probably to me is one of the more exciting cards for the set, and we haven't seen a dark side character with these kind of abilities in a while. To be honest, I
yeah,
mean,
he's definitely pretty rad. Like the fact that he's a leader and he has he said draws
mm,
Destiny on his own. His deploy forfeit ratio isn't the best. He doesn't work with code clearance, which I actually like about him. I'd rather he didn't work with code
yeah,
clearance because that card can be kind of crazy. But yeah, he can go in very much Imperial based decks.
yeah,
He can be splashed in because he does draw Destiny on his own and
hmm
some other kind of stuff. So I
yeah.
can definitely see him getting use in definitely a wide variety.
Whoa! It looks like
All right.
Mr. Chris Kelly, a fan of the show, multiple guest appearance, person, guest star, just
There you
subscribed
go.
for 16. That is a okay. Somebody just asked about this. Actually, Intel ships their processors now in essentially the D12. All the D20s that are inside of it are D20s that I got from buying Magic Fact Packs. So I have a
Neat.
problem.
It's a lot of dice
That's a lot of
you
dice.
got
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Gideon. Again, there's nothing really I could say that is bad about this guy.
Yeah,
he's
he's
gonna
rad.
be he's gonna be really good, and
Definitely.
I'm waiting for the dark saber. I'm really hoping for the dark saber at this point.
We'll see. I mean, that's maybe Mandalorian season 2 will come out, and there'll be some more stuff with that. But yeah. So what's the next card you have for the ones that already been spoiled?
So ones that have already been spoiled. Okay.
Do
Well, you know what? Here, let's go with the light side card. Okay. Because there's not that many, but let's go with one.
all right.
Han's heavy blaster pistol. So again, we've talked this. Euro hasn't gotten the Mandalorian. So at the end, though, at the Mandalorian, he takes off the helmet, and you see he's really Jar Jar Binks.
Spoilers, dude. You don't want to
Hey.
reveal stuff like that.
Hey, I'm just saying, I don't want people over in Europe to feel like, oh man, I just wasted like 10 episodes on this show to see Jar Jar Binks. What the hell? Yeah, Han's heavy blaster pistol. The first
we had this one on our show a couple weeks back.
Yeah, and the big thing to start off with this one is, from at least from what my perspective is, it says you can deploy it on a Beckett. So, and Beckett, for those who have seen Solo, is he's basically the guy who teaches Han how to be a smuggler and everything. So he actually hands Han his gun. Chris, we know the truth. Jar Jar is your homeboy.
Jar Jar is my homeboy as well.
No, I said Chris. Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm homeboys with both of them.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just from that start. It tells you that Beckett is going to be hopefully a light side character, so it's going to be interesting. I would love, yeah. If Beckett's the dark side, if Beckett's a dark side character, I mean that's just weird. But
it's a little weird.
Maybe he could be like Lando from Cloud City, have like a light side persona and a dark side persona.
Personas.
Why not? But,
yeah, I mean,
just from the movie's perspective, he was more of a light side character. He was just
he's one of the darker light side characters, but I'd still definitely call him a light side character. So, but yeah, I mean, the new Han's blaster is pretty rad, shoots at +2, and then if it's on Han, it does all sorts of crazy things, like may fire once during your control phase, and may place this weapon in use pile to cancel targeting him a destiny. So I mean, it's really good in profit. Maybe you might see a lot of decks are starting Saitor, like mains decks, TRM and stuff, with Leia's blaster rifle. This one is a little more I don't necessarily see it transitioning over to TRM as much, but who knows. But
you know what deck could really use this, that needs more people on the ground now? Watch your step. Yeah, watch your step. I mean, if you're playing Solo and you have this on Solo, well, first of all, you can cancel Weapon Destiny. I mean, he's still only Defense Fight 3, but now you take away a Destiny. You can also play You'll Be Dead's light side variant. So what is it? A good blaster.
A good blaster at your side.
Yeah. And you can start doing some ping damage there too. And the other thing about what like that is, I mean, Lando has a gun too. It's not the best gun, but it's still a gun.
You'd probably rather use Luke and like his gun with it.
Yeah, there's Luke's gun as well, and I mean, there's Luke's hunting rifle, which unfortunately doesn't count as a blaster, but still.
Right, but Luke has his own blaster, and you can use like Rebellion's Hope Luke or whatever. I'm not sure which Han I would use in Watch Your Step even with this gun being out, just because. Like Solo in Watch Your Step seems sort of redundant since he plays an interrupt from Lost Pile, but so does your objective. But EPP Han would be maybe a good choice in Watch Your Step, which would maybe not. You wouldn't use this blaster. I'm trying to think if there's a different version of Han that you'd want in Watch Your Step that you would still want the blaster for.
Not that I can think of.
Like, I know there's like Han Solo V, or he's more for profit.
Well, no,
Um,
that's just regular Han V, who's built for profit. We don't. There is Captain Han Solo, who can only go onto
he
the
can only go on the
Falcon.
Falcon. Yeah,
Regular
you
Han
probably need to just
Solo
use.
isn't that good. I mean, I would love to see like maybe. Well, unfortunately, like General Solo is not a smuggler, so I mean,
Yeah, you
I
can't
would
use
love to
him.
see like a new smuggler Han,
Yeah,
maybe from
we had
Solo.
we had a couple from
Yeah.
Legacy. I remember like Han Solo, courageous smuggler. I think was the guy. I don't remember what he did. I think he was pretty crazy, but
Oh
yeah.
my
So Han's
God.
Blaster is pretty rad, but yeah, profit
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. Oh wow. Yeah, that's going to be any errors or anything that's on the game text now won't going to be fixed before they're released. I see what you're
I
saying.
think
Yeah,
that one's
somebody.
a joke, but I yeah.
No, there at the end it says piston. No e.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So what's next of the
what's
already
next?
spoiled
What's
cards?
next? Chris Goglin spoiled this one on Monday. Slip sliding away. However, when he spoiled it, it actually got a little bit of a change in the last couple days. So slip sliding away now says if you deployed exactly one location, and that was a site with exactly 2 dark side icons, you get to deploy a battleground site. Then if you've not deployed a site with Palace in its game text, you may also deploy up to 3 effects that are always immune to alter. Places, interrupt, and lost pile.
So
I
yeah,
really
it's
like
crazy.
this card. This is
It's crazy.
probably the card that has the creativeness flowing, essentially. I know a lot of people were talking about this card in the last few days on the forums and just seeing like, okay, well, what can we do? And the one that was spoiled had the scompling. You have to play a site that has a scompling in it, and it can't be a non-Coruscant site, so you couldn't do like the Zizor Palace chain essentially. But
But that's since been changed essentially
yeah,
because there's no scomp link restriction
yeah.
on the sites. So yeah, but I mean, it's like you said, it's a very creative, card. It can be used with some objectives like ISB, Bring It Before Me, and the Dark Deal objective come to
Mm-hmm.
mind off the top of my head. That might be all of them, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, not
um,
only that. I mean, you could start almost any 2.0 site now
yeah, it's
and
very
get
much like a CRV start, but
yeah.
it's not like a
Um,
system and a site. It's two different locations, two different
yeah.
sites.
I mean, like I know people are talking about like the Invisible Hand Bridge. It's a 2.0 site. You can get that, get another site or another battleground site with this, and then you can drop down like Grievous to anywhere, and your Invisible Hand gets like has an extra destiny. So
Yeah, I can definitely
stuff
see
like
that
that's
kind of
pretty
start.
good. Yeah,
Or the mall site could be pretty good
yeah.
in
Mall
conjunction
site.
with
I
Watto's
mean,
Junkyard.
hell, you could even
Um,
play like the Dagobah Cave. I think
yeah. I mean,
any,
like you said, there's
any.
going to be the deck builders out there who like open-ended sort of
Yeah,
starts and coming up with your
yeah,
own. Like I
and
can like a guy like DDM. This kind of
oh
card is
yeah,
exactly made
forgot
for him.
about
Like
DDM.
what kind of start could he come up with a very
I don't know. He
open-ended
can
sort
he
of
can come
universe
up
like
with a
this?
DDM.
Yeah, he will definitely. Those kind of
Um,
guys be
yeah,
interested to see what
we'll
they can
double
do.
check that again. All these cards are not final until the set is 100% released. That's why with like Moff Gideon there was no image. So the everything will be finalized once the set is released.
Yeah, so
So
yeah, if you guys do happen to catch things, please make sure to
please,
mention them
yeah,
on the forums or
just
whatever.
mention on the forums, mention it in the chat, mention it somewhere so that we can go ahead and correct any of these.
Yeah, get these
And
things
I'll be honest,
corrected.
I actually made a few of them today, and in between work and making these, it was just a little hectic. So I probably missed a few in the work between, like missed a few. So
Yeah, so yeah, that's
hey,
like I said, everything's
I'm
subject to
gonna say this.
change.
I'm gonna say this. Today was so hectic for me at work. I'm literally drinking just straight vodka. No, I'm not.
He's
I'm not.
chugging it, man.
There's water too.
All right, so yeah, slip siding away, really cool card.
Yeah,
Can't wait to really get my
yeah.
teeth onto that card and start
Agreed.
coming up with some cool decks for sure.
Hmm.
So yeah, our next one,
Next one. That's it.
so the ones that were spoiled. Then
No,
we had
that's it.
Admiral
That's it.
Trench.
Oh yeah, we did have Admiral Trench. So Admiral
Admiral
Trench
Trench.
again.
Evil is
Another.
everywhere.
Hey!
And
I'll get to them. I'm just
all
messing with
right,
the people. God,
you're weird.
you have no like sense of showmanship.
I don't know. I think we have very different senses of showmanship. Anyway, so yeah,
Thank you,
Admiral
Chris.
Trench.
Thank you. Well, hold on. Thank you, Chris Kelly, for coming to my defense. You're my
Yeah,
hero.
we got updated text 5 minutes before the
Yeah,
show was
literally, we did for one of them, and I went in there and quickly changed it.
So yeah, give us a
back
little bit of a
off.
break. But yeah, if you do happen to notice things,
Yeah,
we'll definitely get
we'll
them
work on
fixed
it.
before the set comes out, and you can get it printed out on
Yeah.
a nice PDF and start putting them in your double sleeves and all that good stuff. So
There you go.
yeah, Admiral Trench, we had him on our show a couple weeks ago with Chris
Yes.
Kelly. Definitely a super exciting card. I'm really excited to get my teeth into this guy and put him in stunning move decks and maybe some invasion builds and just like the fact that the fact that he makes the starship immune to attrition, like it saves your invasion, battleship from getting destroyed.
Well, no, it doesn't.
And
It doesn't even have to. It's any episode one, so you could literally throw it onto Maul's Sith Infiltrator.
right, that's an episode 1 ship, yeah. And
Or
there's a
any
few other
ship.
ones.
So you don't. So he can go. He can be anywhere essentially. Well, I mean, he can be at. He has to be at the same system. So he could be essentially on like the Invisible Hand, and you can make any other ship immune to attrition, which is also
Right, it doesn't
nice.
have to be his ship. Yeah, that's also true. Then the fact that he's an admiral gives you access to Imperial Command, which is a huge thing, and he's also a commander, a leader, Trade Federation, all those good things. So,
and the other, he also gives you a little bit. So your opponents, if he's like one of your opponents' system like Jakku, their starships will play +1 there. So I mean that gets people. Like that +1 gets people. I've seen games where people always forget about the +1 to the Starship Graveyard on Jakku. Because or you're playing no idea and you drop down like Han with heavy blaster pistol and oh man, I forgot the +1. I've seen that before too.
Luckily, for those who play on GEMP, it'll do it for you. But in real life, you got to make sure to enforce those deploy modifiers for sure.
Yeah. So again, another exciting card. So I'm going to say this. You know what? I'm feeling a little extra generous tonight. How about you, Jerry?
Absolutely.
So tonight, for those who are currently watching out of the 26, after we do Swing and a Miss, because Jerry and I are going to do that, I'm going to essentially do a random number generator to give away a high resolution, very nice printout of all those V cards from this set. So if you're watching, just say Queso right after we do. I'll announce it and random number generator, and somebody will get a walk away with a really nice V-Sub set for this set.
Heck yeah, those are always nice to have.
Yeah. Keep talking smack. I'll give away better stuff.
This is pretty on the spot. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so I think you're just sort of shooting from the hip here. But cool, I like it.
Okay, so you mentioned this one. Let's go with another episode 1 card. Evil is everywhere. So this is something that people know about. It's been out there for a little while. You know what? I'm happy that ASM got a helper. Not only is it an ASM helper, I mean it's just a good card for like Maul. It's a good card for a lot of things.
No, yeah, it's a good episode 1 mains sort of helper. Like being able to pull a sight, the mobile hallway is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have Dooku completely immune to attrition, unless with Obi-Wan. So it's sort of like a really Jedi business mirror in that kind of way.
And you can get any episode 1 lightsaber. So you can get like a Dooku's lightsaber. You can get the Dark Jedi lightsaber. You can get Maul's lightsaber now.
Right.
And that right there is nice. You can get a lightsaber onto Grievous, or I want to say any of those characters who can use a lightsaber. So
Arsing or somebody like that.
Yeah. So again, I like where design is going with this set. It's opening up. Yeah. It's not very really narrow-minded. Yeah. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love like set 4, which was the Jakku and the episode 7 set, but at the same time, I mean, there wasn't a lot of like, you can go in a lot of different directions with that set. It was like, okay, here's your episode 7 cards. Here's
fair.
Oh,
yeah, these ones are a lot more open-ended. These can go into more decks.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe Savage Press would see see some play. I mean,
He's
not
he's
he's
not very
interesting.
good.
He's interesting.
He's a cube card maybe. Pretty expensive in cube though, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah.
what do you think? What do you think next?
So I'm trying to think if there's any other light side ones that
No,
were
I don't think there
previously
were.
spoiled. So I think the only other ones that I can come to mind that were previously spoiled was that one of the malls was spoiled by CRG, which I guess is in itself is moderately a spoiler since that might tell you that there's more than one mall in this set.
Well, I was going to say CRG. I think CRG and
They did EPP mall. The
okay.
EPP
So
Lord
then
mall.
I want to say Brad Iyer came out and said Lone Hunter.
Okay,
So
those have
you know
already
what? We'll
both
go with
been
the
spoiled.
EPP one first. So yeah, we're about to do both malls. So EPP mall got a little bit of a change.
Well, this is not not EPP mall. It's a different
It's
EPP mall.
yeah, it's still
Not
EPP
double
mall.
bladed. Yeah,
It's still
not
EPP mall. He has a lightsaber. He swings at dudes
he swings at dudes.
with
So yeah,
one
he's
swing instead of two.
unless he's disarmed, your battle destiny draws and force drains if present, so at sites, not in space,
Yeah.
are +1 here. Permanent weapon, blah 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 blah. And he is also now a Republic character instead of a Sith. Is that
I don't.
or is that a mistake?
I think that might be a
That seems weird.
mistake.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Again,
They're saying
because
in chat that's a proofing error. So, yeah, it'll be a
well,
Sith.
there are no proofing errors. Well, begin because everything is a spoiler.
All right. Well,
I will be
okay.
I will be technically correct because that is the best kind of correct.
Yeah, I suppose it's not the most entertaining kind of correct, but touche.
Boom.
So yeah, he's power 7. He's ability 6. This guy's rad. I don't know, if he'll be taking over the spot of EPP, of double bladed EPP Maul in all decks, but there's definitely like the Force Train +1 and the Battle Destiny draws. That's pretty rad. He's not immune to attrition or anything like that, so like he's much less of a hit and run character the way double EPP guy is, but he's pretty rad.
I mean,
so
I
could definitely want to mess around with him.
Well, the fact that you can play him in like Invasion, where with Maul double bladed lightsaber guy, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. That's fair.
Good. He has immune. Yeah, I was gonna say he has immune to attrition if you're fighting hyperdrive or if you have the Phantom Menace on the table. So there is that.
Right, that is that.
I think he's going to be a little bit niche because of the ability to swing twice with the double bladed Maul. However, I really do like this one. I think there is some value there because of the drain plus or the drain +1 and the battle destinies are +1. I mean, he doesn't add to his weapons, but
that's fine. You're swinging 2 draws. Like, I mean,
yeah. If you don't hit something
you can always play Dark Strike.
And now he works with Obi-Wan. Like whereas he used to, I mean, if Obi-Wan was there, there's no +1, and now he gets the +1 unless he's disarmed. So maybe we'll see disarm come back. I mean, we've already seen it come back in like Dark Side. So yeah. I like the upgrade. I like the little bit of a tweak. So, and while we're talking about Maul, let's go into the other one.
Yeah, I wasn't aware the other one was spoiled. So
yeah, Brad Iyer took control of that one.
Well, it's
this one is pretty crazy. So he will work like Luke Rebel Scout, where if he's drawn for Destiny, you can take him into hand to cancel it and cause a redraw. Again, that's any Destiny. So he cancels Blaster Deflection and Amidala's game text here. Maul's weapon destiny draws may not be modified or canceled by an opponent, and he's immune to attrition less than 5.
Yeah, this guy is really, pretty rad.
Really good. So, I mean, I know, did he used to work with, he canceled Blaster Deflection if he was alone.
He canceled things like that, and then he like also did something against like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, he canceled their game text.
Canceled their game text or something like that.
He's
more broad scope now, and the redraw text will make him, compete with Young Apprentice Maul in the Coruscant ASM type decks, and then he could even be used in combat or other decks like that, just because his text is so good. The cancels Blaster Defection and Amidala's game text, like this game text is rad for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, like. Him alone makes me not want to play WAP right now. And WAP is
Yeah.
probably one of the more, at least for me, it holds a special place in my heart. But the fact
Yeah,
that
we're both WAP
we
players for
both
sure.
like WAP, and I don't want to touch WAP, seeing this guy even remotely out there. The only thing
Yeah.
I don't like is there was a little bit of a decrease in his immunity to attrition. He was at one point immune less than 6. Now he's immune less than 5. I think that's fair, though.
But because
Being
there
that,
is this, like mentioned earlier, there's this thing called the Phantom Menace. And if you really want them all to be immune to attrition, you're going to run a couple copies of that. So if this guy's in your deck, you're probably running 2 or 3 of him because you can cancel and redraw him anyway. And then so I think that like this is the new Maul for like the all-in Maul decks. Like the Rebel Scout Luke is the new Luke for TRM. This is the new Maul for whatever Maul decks.
I mean, if you're playing like Hunt Down, I think you're going to stick with Maul Double Bladed. Or if you're playing like any other kind of deck, but if you're playing ASM, you want him. If you're
playing like Evil is Everywhere, like the card we had just a couple cards ago,
there you
where
go.
it cancels.
Or if you're playing Invasion, play him because he's got Trade Federation in his game text.
Invasion mains could be much more of a thing.
I mean, why not? I mean, I like this card. I think I just hope Brad's going to be happy with it. That's the big thing.
Maybe he'll come back and play.
I wouldn't say that. Maybe. I don't know.
So thanks again, guys, for joining us for the spoiler reveal show. We're just about done with all the cards that were spoiled before.
I think there's a few more. Like I want to say there's this one, Despair. It works kind of like the same way as the old one, where my favorite decoration may not be placed out of play, but the nice thing about this one is it gives a little bit more of a boost for once you flip and take this to the audience chamber. So at the same site,
CCT flip helper,
because so at the same site as Jabba's Prize, opponents' characters deploy +1, and your force drains are +1. So that gives it a little bit more of an incentive to put this out. Or, well, I mean, if you're playing ASM, you get this out early. You can pull it from your deck. You get it out there. There are guys that deploy +1, so that helps against Throne Room, where if you're playing against Throne Room, I mean, you could throw down like Jar Jar or Corn Horn or Jin down like turn 1 and go, your guy's free. I'm like, well, there goes my deck.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes CCT likes that because they live for the counter beat a lot of times in CCT.
Yeah.
But maybe not in a flip style deck where they want to just like take the first turn, do the crazy Boba Fett thing, and then go over there. They're getting to the Jabba's Prize with Scum and Villainy. Your total power in battles is +3.
Yeah, that's
you're already
really good.
It's really rad for sure.
Yeah.
Like the CCT flip with Scum definitely is going to get a pretty decent boost from that.
I still say even if you're not playing Scum, if you're playing mains, like I want to say it was Baroni at Worlds last year. I think he played a CCT deck that was flipping, or just sat
not
there.
Sure.
But
I think it was a non-flip CCT.
Okay.
Just
and then Then I saw Bastion play a version that was flipping with SIP probe droids and everything. But for that drain +1 and the deploy +1 is just reason enough to play this card. Like,
right, I think that was already on there though.
No,
wasn't it?
The deploy +1 was not. It was a drain +1.
The drain +1 was down there, but now that's the deploy +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Justin. Bastion played it in the playoffs versus, I want to say, Werfs. Yeah.
Cool. It doesn't ring any bells to me, but yeah.
Let's see what else. Are there any other cards that people know of that were spoiled before? We're calling out to the masses.
Yeah, I think that sounds like all. I didn't know about Despair being spoiled. Somehow that slipped through my.
Well, maybe.
Quietly Observing was already spoiled, says Mike Turner.
Mike Turner, yeah.
And then EPP Arsing. That's right. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Yep. And
no one else is saying anything else.
Nobody else is saying. So we'll go back and Arsing. This is
Vader's tie, says Chris. Dan's wrong about Despair. All right, thanks, JJD. See, I thought the only thing that they changed was the power +3 in battles while with Scum and Villainy.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Well, we'll go with Quietly Observing because, well, I like reading this card before Arsing because it talks about Arsing.
There you go. Spoiler alerts. So yeah, it's deploy on table, Aura, Boss, Cad Bane, or Destiny +2. Once per game, may reveal up to 2 unique aliens from hand and or reserve deck reshuffle. For remainder of game, those cards are Assassin and Black Sun agents. So before it was 1, now it's 2.
Yeah, and one is
That's the
better.
change.
2 is better than 1, from what I hear, and certain things. But no, I mean the effect
Usually.
that now that you can play like any alien in Black Sun agents is really good. So you can play like your Erica or
Mara
Sebulba
Jade.
or Mara Jade or anything, any alien. That's really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Gives you a
and
little bit
now
more.
you get 2 of them now, so basically just doubles
Yeah,
your potential for
yeah,
making, because it wasn't really seeing play with 1. There was a few people who
yeah,
I think tried it. I think I saw Mo played like a
yeah.
AOBS deck with it in there and all that, but
Yeah, he was playing an AOBS deck with this that had like multiple Ericas out, and just go undercover, and you'd be like, "Oh, you get rid of my Erica? Here's another one. Here's another
yeah.
one." And that's cool. But I mean, yeah, having ASM have a weapon now with like Mara Jade is really good. Or
Okay. Yeah, and
now you could actually play Jabba the Hutt. So you think about. I think it was Scott who was actually talking about this, and if Scott's talking about this, this is actually going to sound like crazy, but it might work. You could play literally. You could get out your Vigo, and then you could get out like the Jabba's audience chamber. Then you could throw down Jabba, get Scum and Villainy, and now you can have AOBS retrieving when they want to battle.
yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that'd be
it's
kind of neat, I guess. It
yeah.
sounds clunky, but who knows? People will try it out
It's.
or
I'm
whatever.
going to say
Give
this:
it a
if
shot.
Scott takes this to the NPC and one of us has to play Scott, I will not be surprised at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
At
Definitely,
all.
and I guess Chris Kelly was saying in chat that they are also Black Sun agents, not just so
Yeah.
they did not make them Black Sun agents before, just made them assassins. I think that's actually right. Only made them assassins before.
I don't remember.
So yeah, but
Yeah, I mean,
I'll trust him. He makes the cards. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that this card's going to see play. Black Sun will definitely, you'll see some creativity there.
Not only that,
And
I mean, it adds to Destiny to like Cad Bane, Bosk, who are like really low on the Destiny scale. I mean, Cad Bane becomes a 4 now. Bosk becomes a 3. So
right, and the stunning move could also use this card to play some aliens that it doesn't
there
have
you go.
access to. So
Well, I mean, no, it has access to all aliens.
well, like Mara Jade would be specific to where I was going with that. Mara Jade or Erica.
Wait, how? No,
That doesn't work.
no, that doesn't work.
Oh,
So on to our next card. It was
whatever.
mentioned in the chat. Let's go with Aura Singh because we were just talking about her. So this lovely
Okay.
lady is now a bounty hunter and assassin like she was before. However, she's got her gun now with her. And her gun's nothing to sneeze at. Fires for free. When targeting a Jedi, she draws 2 2 weapon destinies instead of 1. And it's only for Jedi. Target is hit. If the target's hit, forfeit equals 0. If total destiny is +1 greater than defense value. So she makes it really easy to hit Jedi, but everybody else is only 1 destiny. But you really want to use this against Jedi. I mean, she was basically a Jedi assassin.
I mean, she's definitely still pretty good. Like people still run, EPP Dengar, even though his battle destiny only is against Watcher Step or whatever. But yeah, like she's pretty rad, and like people are saying with quietly observing, she'll be a Destiny 4.
Yeah.
She's power 4, draws on her own, swings twice if she's a Jedi. So yeah, she's definitely going. Like she wasn't really seeing play in AOBS, but she'll definitely see play in AOBS now.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I like the idea of her getting something, just because again, she was a character who just sits in your binders.
That's fair.
She has an AI. Her AI is really. I mean, actually, I think one of the AI is a better picture than the original one. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me.
Yeah, I haven't
But yeah,
looked at her in a long time.
yeah,
So yeah.
exactly, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, I would rather see like something like this, especially because one, I like that they're hopefully or well, hopefully using the Aura Sync. I'm not 100% sure because again, things could
Well, it
change.
says at the
It
bottom, but
says
yeah.
again, but the set hasn't been released, so they might decide, oh, we're going to use the weapon because it has a picture of her holding the gun like this instead of just standing at the side with it. So
Okay.
I like the fact that they're doing that because Tatooine isn't the out of like Reflections 3, Coruscant, and Theed, it's the easiest of that era sets. So
Oh yeah, to obtain. Yeah, it's
yeah,
very very easy to get compared to Coruscant or
yeah,
Reflections or Theed Palace for
yeah.
sure.
I would
Oh
love to,
yeah,
see, and
she's excited.
I like seeing cards that have like AIs you can use like in multiple. So now you can run like both versions if you want. So
Yeah, Chris says the Reflections 3 is a
yeah,
better picture,
and
but
that's
Tatooine is much cheaper. So
and
yeah, I
that's a
mean,
good point. I'm really glad that design went with this, thinking of just people and like, oh well. I mean, you might see the Aura things spike up now, especially the AI version, but
yeah, I mean,
it's
I don't
better than
see
being like a $2 rare.
her being one where you're gonna
No,
need like 5 copies of her or anything. You know,
no,
you go out and you buy a couple, and that's probably
yeah.
sufficient. But yeah, definitely, she's going to be a pretty sweet addition to the dark side repertoire. Definitely needed some good,
Yeah.
good value character. So heck yeah.
So we'll go with the last card that people know about beforehand. So, and that is Vader's Tie. So, yeah, Troy came up with this one originally, and they modified it a little bit. The big modification is now you can use either any Vader. So instead
Yeah,
of
instead
being
of
like just the original math version of
non,
Agent Vader, you can throw now the virtual one onto him for the -2. And honestly, like I like that.
yeah, and I think it also can cancels the game text of a passenger now instead of just a
Yes,
pilot.
yeah, and that's pretty good because now you can get like, well, I mean, I was gonna say
And
Leia, but
yeah,
obviously that doesn't
it was
work.
like I think before it was like canceled the game text of a pilot aboard a starfighter
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
So
And now you can
now you
use it
can
on a
get
capital and you can use it on a passenger. So there's
yeah,
like
and
Bail
okay,
Organa, there's Padmes, there's all those kind of guys.
okay. So you can actually Padme's the big one, I think. So yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Chris. So yeah, you can cancel Padme's game text. So you get into this like canceling thing. So you cancel Padme's game text, but then once the battle's over, she cancels Vader's game text again. So
Well,
I
but at
mean, I
least
like
like
that.
you can actually use
Yeah,
Vader in
you can use
space
yeah, you
against
can
Padme.
use yeah.
Like that's the whole point. So
And that's fair because I mean, don't get me wrong, the shuttle is still good because you can put a passenger, but now you're like, well, I want to use my Vader, and people are throwing Padme up in space, and I can't use my Vader, so sad.
yeah,
But now you
definitely
can.
seems
Now
like
you can.
Padme is a target of a lot of these cards because
Yeah,
Maul works with Padme, and this one
yeah.
specifically,
And
I mean, it
and
doesn't say Padme, but it's meant for Padme.
and you can still cancel like Poe's game text. You can cancel like anybody who's less than 4. Poe's the big one that I can think of, just because he adds Destiny, and he makes the ship immune less than 5. So okay, Akbar's a
Akbar,
good one. Yeah, Akbar's a really good one. Um,
Space Luke.
nope, can't get Space Luke because he's ability 4. Radis is ability
Oh, it's
3,
really
so you
less
can
than
get.
4. Yeah,
So I
okay,
mean,
right. I
Radis
didn't.
is only. I mean, the big thing about Radis is, I mean, yeah, he deploys for 0, and he adds 1 to each of your capitals, but still, you can cancel his game text.
Yeah, Solo would be another one.
Solo, yeah, that's a good one. Chewie, Lando, um, Dash,
But I
Lebo,
guess
Mirux, Wedge.
okay, cool. We got it.
Yeah, we got it.
Uh,
Yeah, we know.
yes,
Yeah,
we're 40 minutes in and we haven't got any
we're
new cards.
40
We need to go.
minutes in. Holy
Yes, I think we need to
crap!
pick up the pace. You talk a little much
Hey,
sometimes.
I want to make sure that people. So we're gonna go back to now a light side card because there's not a lot of light side cards in this one. But you know what? They're still there. They're still there. So you know what? We're gonna go with the Force is strong with this one. Is getting an errata. I like this one because it can work with Anakin. It can work with a Padawan. So you can work it like with Kanan. Kanan's a good one.
Yeah,
Ahsoka with lightsabers is a good one. So Is it
Yeah,
about
the card wasn't seeing much play
no?
before. It was definitely low on the power curve, but now I think like it didn't really mention Luke in the old version. So like now it's kind of a
Yeah,
Luke helper, as opposed to just being sort of a Padawan
yeah.
helper or whatever it was before. So
So,
I definitely dig the boost in
hmm
power. I Have You Now is a pretty annoying card to deal with
yeah.
sometimes.
I mean, I would love to
So
have a puller for this card, but at the same time, you know what? It's still a Destiny 5,
there actually I think is a puller for this card.
but it's not like Crush the Rebellion.
It's that terrible Dagobah mirror of Crush the Rebellion.
Uh,
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, decent card. It'll
very
definitely
cool.
help. The card will see a lot more play than it did before. So
So, you know what?
Twilight is upon me. Thank you, SDL.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I used to play that card a lot back in the Legacy era, but it's still terrible.
Well, you know what? The First Order has a new guy. He's an interesting guy. He's
First
He's
Order
Allegiant
map.
General Pride. So if you have seen Rise of Skywalker, this is the main Imperial bad guy who, spoilers, shoots
Right,
Hux.
so he's pretty cool. He's pilots 2, power 3, ability 3, deploys for 5, deploys for 3, forfeits for 5. Hux is lost, so that's a big deal on him. While with a resistance character, adds 1 battle destiny.
Mm-hmm.
While Emperor on table, attrition against opponent here is +1 for each First Order character here.
So that's interesting because the Emperor can't be played in map.
The Emperor cannot be played in map.
I want to see what design is going to do to essentially correct this. Or
I think this is just sort of a prequel to what they were working on for the next set or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think he's solid. Yeah, bring him before me. He would be good. Any deck that like plays the Emperor. So anything like maybe a according to my design deck that you're going to play the Emperor on table. I don't know like.
You could do like a First Order style, Eops or Dark Deal type deck, where you're using those guys instead of Imperials or whatever.
You know what I was going to say? Johnny Chu likes his little Dark Deal with First Order guys, so he could see a lot of play in that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a bunch of resistance characters. I mean, Rey, Finn, Poe, Leia, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, so on.
Solo.
So on, so on, so yeah.
Yeah. So adding a Destiny against any of those, that's pretty rad text for sure. So definitely
I want to say there's a few more dark side cards, but you know what? Let's go into another light side card. This one has me excited because you know what? We finally might be able to use one of the best images for a card. Design listened to me and made a Mon Calamari Dockyards. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. I've been wanting to use this card. So now it's still, it's a little bit, it's still different than Quad Drive Yards, which I like, but it makes it so your starter cruisers may deploy -2, minimum of, or a maximum of 3, except the profundity. So that's really big because you could almost get the profundity out for free. So now it works with home 1. So that's really good.
Yeah, it doesn't exclude the home
does
one.
Not and they ignore deployment restrictions, so that's pretty good. Draws 1 battle destiny if able to otherwise, and immune to attrition less than 4. I like this card, especially in a deck like No Idea, where I can pull Rebel Starships. I'm gonna play with that.
No, yeah, I had a version of No Idea that used cruisers and this stuff already before, and it just makes it better because, I mean, I was running home 1 in that anyway, just because the home 1 is so good. But now this just makes it deploy for ridiculous amount.
So people are asking in the chat. No, the home 1 would deploy for a maximum total of -3. So it doesn't stack.
Yeah.
It does not. But
you can choose which modifiers you choose.
Yes, and that is 100% true. So if you're getting like multiple modifiers in a different way, you could say, okay, I'm not going to use the -2 from the Mon Calamari Dockyards, I'm just going to use these other modifiers.
You're just going to use the -5 from the war room or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this card wasn't seeing much play, and definitely gets a boost, allowing the home one. Home one is a package that was used a lot at the start of the reset era, but sort of went away in the last 2 or 3 years. I think just because the efficiency of Tantive and Profundity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe this will help open up the space packages for light side, and we'll definitely see what comes of it.
Yeah, it's again. Thank you, Chris. You have made me a happy person. Boom, Veers. So dark side walkers are getting a helper in General Veers, not to be confused with in Veers, not to be confused with General Veers. So
yeah, this is the Veers from the
white border.
The white border, the Hoth Jedi pack Veers, or 2-player Veers, whatever you call them. So yeah, he's deploy 3, forfeit 5, power 3, ability 3, pilots for 3. He's a leader. Once per turn, you can reveal him from hand to download the 6th marker or Blizzard 1 to Hoth. Deploys free or Blizzard 1, and while piloting it, adds 1 destiny to total power.
So I'm not 100% sure. Is he still a general?
Veers, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, is he still a general? If anybody knows, please let me know.
He was never a general.
Version.
Yeah, that version's never a general.
Okay, I'm just
No, yeah, you're good.
So I mean, you lose the. Okay, if he's not a general, you lose. Okay, so he is a general. He is a general.
Is he a general?
So you could pull him now with Imperial. You can still pull him with Imperial Command. You can still use Imperial Command.
Oh, he's a lore by general. Okay, or yeah, general by lore. Okay.
Okay. So I like this because if you get him, like, okay, you have Imperial Command. You play the Imperial Command. You pull him. He pulls the 6th marker, or he pulls a Blizzard 1. So it's a little bit more efficient, and I mean, there's still the effect that says, you can swap like Blizzard or Walker Garrison for the site if you need to, but no, I like this one. I really do. I really want to play with. I like Hoth CRV. I like walkers.
I've never been much of a walkers guy. I've never been much of a walkers guy.
Well, I mean, for me, walkers was good because it was like a control type of a deck, and again, I like control. Give me a good old-fashioned control deck.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like this guy. We'll definitely see what he opens up for those kind of decks.
Yeah. Let's go into another card that's seeing a little bit of a change. We're going to talk about the Wild Crade.
The wild card.
Whatever.
You and your pronunciations always
Shut up.
I don't know where you come up with this stuff.
Hawaii.
It's the wild card.
Hawaii. The wild card. Okay. So it's still
the only thing that changed on it is it's deploy 3 instead of deploy 5.
Yeah,
and fairly certain that's the only thing.
I like it. I
Chris
really do. It can see a lot of stuff. It can see a lot of play in assortment of decks, especially like a Watcher Step, because of the whole like, oh, your total battle destiny is +1 for each smuggler on. Oh, well, you just dump a bunch of smugglers on it, like, I don't know, cheap ones like Palace Raider, and you get a +1. That's really good.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, like before, it was a decent ship, but paying 5 for it just always seemed so bad with its stats. Like, I mean, the forfeit 6 is pretty decent, but like power 3, armor 4, hyperspeed, like none of those numbers are like jumping out at you.
No.
I mean, immune to attrition less than 5 is pretty decent, but it's a Destiny 2. But like decks like WAP and decks like Hyperdrive, they were kind of on the fence about this card because they're allowed to play it and they're kind of weak in space. But paying 5 for a ship that couldn't draw Destiny on its own or do anything like that just seemed kind of mediocre. So I think the fact that this is 3 deploy, going to open it up for a lot more. You know what?
This actually has a pooler too. Yarna, who's a Destiny 6 card.
Yeah, so I mean, like I'm
going to say this. Stubbly and I were talking about something like with her and this card. So shout out to Stubbly for telling me that Yarna is a pooler for wild card.
Yeah, I knew that already, but you can start that in Agents in the Court and then use that to pull this. Start your space package out that way. Seems like a pretty,
or you just like let it float in a Watcher Step deck, and then you can.
Yeah, people were already floating in Watcher Step because it also pulls the Cantina, right? Or not the Cantina.
Mos Eisley.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so
then you can do the Cantina shuffle in a Watcher Step deck.
Okay, moving on. I think at this point we're going to spoil not one but 2 cards.
Okay.
And the reason we're doing 2 is because They work for both sites. So
Oh, okay. It's the
yeah, we're gonna go with fanfare and don't do that
don't do that
again
again.
are getting a little bit of a change.
So
So
yeah,
they still pull your
they
media effects. Don't do that again. Still suspends mobilization points. Fanfare still
staging
suspends
areas.
staging areas. The big thing is now is that they also cancel. Always thinking with your stomach, ice storm, sand whirl for don't do that again, and fanfare cancels ice storm, lost in the wilderness, order to engage, sand whirl, and scramble.
So
Um,
yeah,
that's a
they
lot.
change
That's
they
just
changed the always thinking with your stomach and lost in the wilderness from like
yeah,
movement equals 0 and whatever to just straight up canceling them. And then also the big deal is ice storm and sand whirl are now straight up canceled.
yeah,
Which you and I even had a pretty lengthy
yeah,
discussion before we started the show tonight about this particular thing, and we're on opposite sides a little bit here,
yeah,
but like I'm a huge fan of this change, and I think the
yeah.
meta and everything will
I
will really appreciate this. But I understand where you're coming from. Ice Storm and Sand War, in my opinion, don't add much to the game, and so I'm glad that they're gone. But
and
go ahead with your
for
piece.
me, it's not like I would rather see a soft canceler essentially, like suspend them or something. So allow people to still play the cards that they want to play, but make it so that they're punished for playing them. Not just saying, "Oh, you can't play." You essentially, because essentially to me, these cards say, "Oh, you can't play those cards. You can't." So
Right. I see where you're coming from. Like maybe
and
they
and,
could be a
and
little less hard-handed,
I
but
mean, for me, it's like they take away all the cheese, the fun, the surprise. Like I love going to a tournament and seeing like somebody play a shield busting deck. Like, okay, Werfs will never be able to play his. They're as
pod
good in
racing, crazy
pod
stuff.
race crazy. They're as good in him. Shield busting deck that, unless you're on the opposing side of, is fun to watch. You're never going to see this kind of stuff again, and that's what I
In my opinion, there's still a decent amount of cheese out there that's still not shielded, or
name
you can play
one.
around.
Name one.
I mean,
Come on,
I don't know.
come on.
You're putting me on the spot, and I'll
Yeah,
come up with something. But
I
like,
want to hear the. I want to hear the queso
okay,
man,
so
the
the
cheese man,
pod.
talk some cheese.
All right, well, pod racing is still shielded, but people still play it. People still sense alter and whatever are shielded. People still play them all the time. People still play weapon lev. And they're still shielded. So I mean, like Ice Storm and it's Sand Whirl. Like in my opinion, like I think I said to you before we started, the only
Mm-hmm.
way they've been used since the reset has been to be in space decks to get around battle order, and like that's like an EBO or in hidden base or things like that. It's just not. It's not interactive, and it doesn't lead to interesting games of Star
Okay,
Wars.
so
Like
you and I agree with a deck like Hidden Base, where you pull the desert, you stick like Rogue One or
Wedge or
and
whatever,
Wedge down there,
Dash and Rogue
put
10.
down like a sand world that can't do you cannot it doesn't get rid of it unless you have a control, which Darkseid really doesn't play controls, and then maybe they would play a little bit more controls. I mean, at least take some with you to an event. But
Right,
yeah, I mean, there's
and
no way to get rid of those stuff. But I see where you're coming from. But at least with like Ice Storm, it moves,
it
and
does move. I mean, they both technically move, but I know what you're saying.
yeah, and there's a lot of strategy going into playing a deck like EBO, and EBO isn't. It's not beatable because of Ice Storm. It's not. It's EBO's putting first of all, EBO's putting a lot of cards on table. So one, they're taking the chance of not being able to win in like a match play format. Okay, I can understand that, but in like a
Our
or no,
normal
in a
tournaments are
mitch,
mostly
yeah, in a normal
like
tournament, it
matchup.
makes sense to play like a deck like EBO, whereas like a match play, you're taking that little bit of a risk, saying,
If you're
okay,
putting a ton of cards out,
yeah,
yeah. But I
so
mean, it's you just like turtle at your Northridge,
hmm
and like you have crazy Luke and crazy Wedge on their speeders, and it's just like, well, I guess I don't get to interact with you on the ground in this entire game,
so
and
here's the
like,
next
but
question,
you still
and
get to have the benefit of battle order and draining for free with
mhm,
crazy EVO
yeah.
bonuses.
So
Like it's
here's
it's
another
not
question.
fair.
Here's my next question though. What if EBO got a little bit of a change to itself. So instead of being as powerful as it is in space, I don't know. Like, okay,
I mean,
so
I think
okay, I'm
that's
going to say this. Ralops is good against the deck. Map is good against the deck because Map is more of a faster deck. Now that Darkseid is seeing a lot of these different options like ASM, where they're going to be able to easily flip.
right, but like even
speeders can't go into the invisible hand. I mean, they can go to the docking bay, but if you move one side in, what are they going to do?
right, but like EBO is just crazy and it would outdrain you, and then would get to drain for free because like so against Hunt Down or Stunning Move mains or something like that. Like all the like
I'm going to say this:
the only place you can interact with them, you don't get to interact.
I'm
with
going to
them
say this: if I'm a Hunt Down player and I see EBO, I'm going to be giddy because they literally have to take out their deck to beat a Hunt Down. First of all, they have to play like maybe 2-3 copies of Out of Commission to cancel your Visage, and then you get to sit at the Cloud City site to drain for 3 all game because. So I mean,
all right, we're still not
going
to.
We're not going to see eye to eye to this, but you know what? Yeah.
Canceling them, in my opinion, is good. Also, what Chris Kelly says, they free up creativity for things like sliding away. Sliding away absolutely could not be made.
I 100% agree with you
Ice
on
Storm and Sand Whirl being cards that you can play. So, yeah. Anyways, next one.
So moving on. So yeah, we got a little bit of a shield. Believe me, Jerry and I could talk for like the next 3 hours on this and not be square away. How about a little droid? I like droids. You?
I love droids.
Boom. R2D2. R2D2 is everybody's favorite droid.
Not mine, but keep going.
What are you, like a Gonk droid fan?
C3PO is my favorite droid.
I'm going to say this: the mouse droids are mine, but that's besides the point. R2D2, still, while aboard a starfighter, he adds 2 to the power maneuver and hyperspeed. While with a Scomp Link, he adds 1, so there's still that. So you can still run him in like your Diplo or and some other decks. And if about to be lost, you can place him in Year's Pile. That's really good. I like that part.
He's only deploy 1 now, whereas he was deploy 2 before.
Yeah, and that's also true. Immune to Fire Extinguisher and Restraining Bolt. Solid little changes. I mean, these little tweaks seem like quality of life tweaks, to be honest, and I like that. I like stuff like this because it's looking at a card saying, okay, it's not totally broken, and I'm not talking like oh my god, it's ridiculous good. I'm talking like it doesn't need fixed, but we could edit it a little bit to make it a little bit more improved.
I was using R2D2 a fair amount already, but this will just make him more valuable because he's cheaper to deploy. And I think that's the only change that they made was the cheaper deploy. I end up going
and he goes
instead of loss,
which is still good.
So which is great because then he's a 2 or a 5 Destiny and you can get him back and all that good stuff. Yeah. So definitely, like you said, just quality of life and making it immune to restraining bolts also is pretty rad.
Yeah. So, and then the next card we're going to talk about is Shadows of the Empire, a card that has already been errated once before. Well, actually, multiple erratas, I want to say.
Well, yeah, it was crazy before when there was no costs to the square, and now it's went from being 2 to 1.
Yeah, and that's pretty much. And I think that's the big.
That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's really the only difference. But so I mean, I like it. It's a little bit more fair.
I think making 2 to do it was maybe a bit of an overreaction to just how good ABS was. But I mean, AOBS was still seeing a decent amount of play even with that. But I think this will just make it be a little more. It'll go from being like maybe tier 2 to being up into tier 1 now for sure.
I'm gonna say this,
along with Aura and Blaster Rifle and quite a mercenary or whatever. Like AOBS seems poised to be pretty strong.
Yeah. Okay, so, and I think we talked about this one very briefly. Darth Vader's lightsaber. So, a card that I have been personally wanting to change in a long time because it doesn't see play.
Right.
For good reason.
Is this the Death Star 2 lightsaber?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So, you deploy on Vader, may not be stolen. That's good right there. If present during a battle, may throw, place in lost pile to add Destiny to attrition. may target a character for free, draw 2 destiny, target hit, forfeit 0 if total destiny greater than defense value. So first of all, you can still swing with this card.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
swing
want
first,
you swing
and then
first.
in your next weapons phase action,
Yeah.
you use the throw.
And I like the fact that you put it into your lost pile because there is I am your father out there. And
Yeah.
I am your, so I mean that seems
So it's
fair.
essentially like lose 1 force, because then you'd have to lose 1 force to get it back
Exactly.
with I am your father. So
Exactly.
it's essentially lose 1 force
Yeah.
to throw,
Mhm.
but doesn't add to force drains,
No,
right?
and I think that's a good trade-off, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it can't be stolen. So we were talking about like what weapon lev and the light side variant. So now if you're only playing this one, you don't have to pull a shield.
Yeah, so don't have to worry
So-
about wasting time on the weapon levitation shield. Without the force drain bonus, I hesitate to wonder. I mean, the adding a destiny to attrition is pretty good though.
yeah, and
that can be pretty nice. So we'll see if anybody comes up with a good deck that that really wants to abuse that text.
so I mean, like a deck like Hunt Down, I see can play this because if you're say you're going to the Cloud City, the 2/2 site, you're still getting a drain of 2 in. It's probably going to be capped anyways because they're playing Resistance, so or Ultimatum.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, in drain
it's
races,
yeah.
that definitely counts. But yeah, maybe you might see people who run like one of each, since you can use I am your father. Like a lot of times,
Yeah.
you want 2 copies of lightsaber or whatever anyway. Maybe you see people running one of each, so that way if they come in different situations, you use the
Yeah.
other one, and I don't know. Then so
yeah,
maybe
play both. That's a good option, actually.
maybe
Yeah, why
that's
not?
something that they come up with.
Okay, so the next one we're going to go is another errata. I'm actually going to. This one is Sith Fury. Sith Fury sees some play, mostly because it cancels
It's
the
Jedi
destiny.
levitation.
It's kind of like
levitation.
Yeah, well, Jedi levitation with a use. The Lost version was really bad. Pay 4 to
Just pay
deploy
4.
a Dark Jedi from your deck. So you essentially you're like, oh, I want to play Maul with double weighted lightsaber. Well, pay 11.
Yeah, it was
Now,
pricey
I
for sure.
love
Now-
the change on this one.
Now you can exchange a character in hand with a Dark Jedi Master in Lost Pile.
No. So actually, you know what? That is the wrong game text. I'm sorry, I had the wrong image up. This was like a last minute thing. I
told you we should have just run this one with text only.
No, that's another card. That's another card. So
okay.
the new game text actually says you can exchange a Dark Jedi with a Dark Jedi.
Oh, so you exchange.
So you can still
another?
do you can exchange one for another. So say you have like Emperor on the table and you have an Emperor in the hand and you have no way of putting him back in the deck. Well, you can just send in the Emperor to your Lost Pile to get a Vader back.
Okay.
So I mean,
so it changed your dark Jedi,
Dark
Jedi out for other ones. So if you have one that's on the table, but you have an extra copy of that guy in hand, but you want to
again, so I have the correct card on my desktop. I just running home like after work and trying to set everything up. So again, the card will be correct, which is the Dark Jedi for Dark Jedi when it is released. Again, I'm sorry. My bad.
So it's a DJ for a DJ. So this is like the Daft Punk card or something. All right. So
the altars are spinning in my head now. I think we got only a few more. So you know what? I'm gonna talk. Let's do another dark side card. Vader's Anger. This was the card that Chris Kelly literally told me 2 minutes before the show. This was it. So if Vader's lightsaber just hit a character, cancel that character's game text. If it missed, swing again at the same character.
Nice.
That's really good. That's really, really good. So
retwing.
Yeah, so you, during your turn, you swing, you hit Qui-Gon with lightsaber while you cancel his game text. He can't swing back. That's really good. And then, you miss. Well, they get to swing, but you get to swing again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's really
honestly.
good. Or cancel a trap at a Dark Jedi site. That's good. I like that. It's a Trap has been used a lot, in a lot of decks.
Yeah, that's the bit that I'm a little skeptical of. The one thing that It's a Trap also does is it cancels Sniper. And if we're already canceling It's a Trap with this, someone I think in the Slack chat over there, they were talking about this.
Okay.
canceling It's a Trap could be. It might be fine because it's already canceled
That's
on.
a really good point, actually.
But this one's immune to sense, whereas the other It's a Trap canceler isn't. But whatever. I mean, maybe Sniper gets a little more played, and you have to run some Sniper cancelers or something like that.
You just run a sense or
run one that's not It's a Trap.
Yeah. And then the last part is, and this is what the game text was. So, or a rebel trooper in battle with Vader is lost. So, kind of reminiscence to Rogue One.
Okay, Vader's anger, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so, no idea. Just I'm gonna fight with a trooper with Vader. Well, no, that trooper's lost. So if you're coming down, like say you go drop Vader on a guy who like Cassian, who is with a trooper. Well, you just make the trooper lost, and then you're fighting like Cassian. That's
so specifically, this one seems pretty good specifically for like no idea. Because all the rebel troopers are in that deck, specifically rebel troopers too. I also like that it like if it was just like all troopers, then it would kind of negatively affect the clone troopers or something like
that. Finn was the big one.
Finn is another trooper who's
Yeah, it makes sense, and I'm glad that Chris got this to me like 2 minutes before the show. So
nice, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Pistone's in the chat. What? Or no, maybe that's not Pistone.
That's not actually Pistone. That's Pistone's Ivory Death Fist.
Yeah.
It's a different.
No, I mean, overall, I like the card. It makes Vader a little bit scarier. So.
Yeah, good for Hunt Down. Good for Bring It Before Me.
I think that a scary Vader is a good thing.
Scary Vader is a good thing. You were definitely right there.
I think we're running out. I think there's
one
more.
One or more light side card at least.
I think there's one. I think there's one more, and I thought no. So what we were saying was originally it was going to be a trooper, just a straight trooper, but design was like, well, that could get rid of Finn, and that's not really good. So
and all the clone troopers.
So they said, okay, rebel. So again, like I said, Chris got that changed to me like 2 minutes before the show.
So
we have one more card. It's a light side card.
I'm looking at the master list and I see two that we haven't talked about.
Which one?
There's a starship and a character.
Oh yes, you're right. So
okay.
The starship. So who's everybody's favorite ship?
Everyone's favorite starship?
Yeah.
For what side of the Force?
Light side.
Light side. A lot of people are going to say the Falcon, but that thing's garbage.
Yeah, the Falcon's garbage. Well, not anymore. Okay. Hold on.
I like the answers we got in chat. Red 6. Good old, is that Jack Porkins ride?
That is Jack Porkins ride.
All right, so it was up there for a second. Where'd it go?
Give me a second.
Okay. The garbage will do.
Garbage will do. Yeah, give me 1 second, everybody. Sorry. Jerry, entertain everybody.
I was drinking. Entertaining.
You should not be drinking.
So yeah, we have it's the starship is Han Chewie and the Falcon.
It is Han Chewie and the Falcon,
which was already a virtual card, but now they made it better. So I'll go ahead and read it while you're still finding the image.
There it is.
Okay,
there's
so it's
the correct image, everybody. I knew
I
could
add two passengers. Permanent pilots are Han and Chewie. Probability of 5. Power may not be reduced. Immune to come with me, and attrition equals 6.
So here's the big thing. Look at that power.
It's power 9.
Yeah.
Maneuver 6. Hyperspeed 7. Deploy 6. Forfeit 8. And Destiny is the same.
Yeah, you have a power 9 light side ship. And you can still use life debt now with it. So that's really good.
But I mean,
very good.
The opportunity cost of not playing Chewie with Bowcaster, not playing solo, things like that.
Yeah.
I was looking at that myself. I don't know. The hyperspeed number was really weird on that image. It's supposed to be
It was a last minute change before I left for work.
It's a hyperspeed 7.
It's a hyperspeed 7.
What it's listed on my.
That's again. Graphical error from me. I was trying.
And you can also add passengers, which is another big thing.
And that's a big thing. That's a really big thing because now you can drop like a Padme or Leia. You can have Leia on there. And Leia can work
whoever you want. Yeah. Whoever you want. two passengers.
Well, yeah, the hyperspace isn't work. The hyperdrive isn't working, so that's why it's like all funky. We need to go in
Yeah,
there and get a
when
hyper
when I
spanner.
saw it, do you remember the old Falcon that we used to have back in Legacy?
Yeah.
The one where you had to draw Destiny to use the hyperdrive?
Yes,
That
was
card was so
crazy.
fun. I loved that card. Yeah,
Bring it
so
back, Chris Kelly. Bring that back.
Yeah, for those who are watching who didn't play back in Legacy, there was a Falcon that every time you wanted to use the hyperspeed, you had to draw Destiny, I think, higher than 2.
Yeah,
it was a pretty low draw to get to use the hyperspeed, but it's basically sort of, it was like, oh, the Falcon isn't working right now if you drew a low Destiny. So that thematically, that card was amazing.
But I want to say the immunity to attrition was like 7.
Yeah, it was a crazy. Yeah, it was the one you started with the virtual watcher step.
That was a great objective. Let's bring that back.
We already did. It's called Old Allies.
Oh, please. No, there's
it's essentially the same thing. It's essentially the same thing.
It kind of is. I'm going to say this. If they're going to change EBO and make EBO like sadness, bring back speeders and walkers. Please do something. I want to play some freaking speeders.
Now that we've banned Ice Storm, we can bring back speeders. I'm okay with that.
That's fair. So we have one last card. This card, I mean, Moff Gideon has me excited. Slip Sliding Away has me excited, but this card actually might.
Time over there?
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Shut up. This card might excite Johnny Chu and the members of KTOD.
KTOD?
KTOD. This is Tamtail Screech.
Tamtail Screech.
He's a 3/3, so he has the same power and ability for 3/6. He deploys -1 to the Falcon, so if you have like the Falcon on Tatooine,
so that makes him a matching pilot for the Falcon, so you can use squadron assignments.
Yeah. While at a Jabba Palace site, Lando's game text may not be canceled. Any force you retrieve with an premier objective may be taken into hand. Premium. Sorry. May be taken into hand. While with Han or your rep, opponent may not target that character with interrupts or weapons.
Huzzah! That's great.
Prophet has a huge helper now. I mean, you play Lando with Vibro Axe, but holy crap, this card is really good.
This guy is. He makes Han so much more viable on the ground in Prophet decks because you're just like, well, I can cancel that. Obviously, people are just going to try to kill Lando first, and then you go after Han. But I mean, the force retrieval being taken into your hand, that's pretty rad. Because then you can lose cards too early, and knowing that, like, oh, I'm just going to get this one back, I'm going to get this one back, I'm going to get this one back.
Exactly. Now, I'm not saying that Prophet is going to be like amazing just because of this one character. Don't get me wrong. I saw a lot of good Prophet at Endor. I think you did too. But
there was 5 Endor.
There was 5. There was 5 Prophet at Endor. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Prophet is a premium objective.
Not only can you use it with Prophet, you can use it with Agents in the Court.
Mm-hmm.
So you can run like your crazy little Agents of the Court musician decks if you want. Again, another Legacy deck that was just stupidly broken.
Yeah, and the fact that his game text can't be canceled while
really good.
So I really dig a lot of the things that they've done. That's our last card for the spoilers.
Yes. So
I think Prophet definitely seems like he's gonna love that one. So let's get right into our swing and misses now that we've kind of showed it because our questions are geared.
We're gonna do swing and the miss. Was it before swing and the miss or after swing and the miss that I said?
I think you said after we spoiled the cards for your little giveaway thing.
Okay.
So let's do that now. We got 32 people watching.
We have 32 people. Okay, 32 people. If you want registered, you must say in the chat, Queso. I will give everyone. So now.
Oh man, this is going to be fun.
This is going to be awesome. I'm going to go to my phone and pull a random number generator. I actually have a few.
I love seeing all the queso in the chat. It's making me very happy.
Well, yeah, I have to support my stinky cheese friend. Okay, so
someone wrote Quest. I don't know if that counts.
Okay, so count them for me, queso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
To answer your question, I play a lot of D&D.
I see 18.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 18. That's the final number.
All right.
Are we locking it in?
Lock it in.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Brenson, he was already in there, wasn't he? No, Brenson, we got 19. We got 19.
20. We got 20.
So he said Quest, and I counted him. So
yeah, you're fine.
It's 19 now.
Is Small Lines in already? Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, he already was.
Entrance is closed, so if you haven't gone now, I'm sorry. So, just so everybody watches.
Let's be completely honest.
Yeah.
Can we see that? It's on your phone.
It's on my phone.
Press the button.
Oh.
Press the button.
I did, and I screwed up.
37. Did it say 37?
Yes, it did say 37. So
that's my favorite number. So I win.
You don't win.
Oh man, did you not program it right?
No,
I could just do a Google random number.
Shut up. I got this.
Okay.
I'm the one giving it away, so okay.
That's what she said.
Hi-oh.
All right, let's do this.
12.
12?
12. 1,
right,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, really? No. Okay, fine. He gets it. He gets it. Chris Kelly is the winner.
Chris Kelly.
Okay, and before anybody really complains, you all saw me, and that's why I did it this way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Chris Kelly wins the nice. I go out and actually make really nice ones. So.
All right. So you ready for a swing and a miss?
Yeah.
All right. So you want to go first, or you want me to?
Queso goes first.
All right. My first swing and a miss is with non-Vader decks like Stunning Move, Invasion, ISB, stuff like that, getting more helpers in set 12. There Is Good in Him will be a popular light side mains platform to kind of respond to that. Is that swing and a miss, or it's a hit?
It's a swing and a miss, or it's a hit. It's a hit.
It's a hit?
Oh, yeah, it's a hit. I mean, Worst is already playing it. Endor guys loved There's Good in Him. And, yeah, if there's no Vader or any Imperials, why not play it? I mean, you're losing.
Because, yeah, There's Good in Him. If Vader's not around, There's Good in Him is pretty rad. So
I mean, even if Vader is around, you still have all those other guys that you can come down with and be like,
yeah, you just get the crazy generation bonus and all that. The direct damage if you end up getting him stuck to an Imperial that's not Vader.
I like it, and I think it's like one of those decks that maybe is like a tier 2, but people aren't really looking at it yet. So, yeah, I'm down for it. It's a hit. You?
I'm going to say swing and a miss, just because
you're going to be different.
Because we also got Vader helpers in this set, so maybe we won't see as much non-Vader decks as I sort of hinted there would be.
We might see a lot of hunt down, honestly.
It might be spread out, so you wouldn't really There's Good in Him. That's might not have the boost that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the possibilities of Darkseid right now. There's a lot. It's pretty open. So
it's pretty exciting. I think Darkseid's definitely going to get a lot better.
With mine, my first one is Moff Gideon is the most exciting card in the set. Originally, I was going to say it's a hit, but I'm going to go swing and a miss. And that's because...
Most exciting is an interesting way to say it. I'm going to say swing and miss for that particular adjective or adverb or whatever that's called. But he's certainly a pretty awesome card.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I think with Slip Sliding Away, just because of the possibilities and everything, has me...
That one... is pretty rad.
Especially after the changes that they made to the card, so that you can now play it with almost any battleground site. Yeah, that's really good.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. Okay, my turn. So sort of leaning into the one I had for my first one, with Vader's Anger V, Darth Vader's Lightsaber V, stuff like that. We'll bring Hunt Down back into the meta. Is that it's a
Hit.
hit or
It's a hit.
yeah? I think I'm going to
Honestly,
say that as well.
like I'm going to say this: Stubbly going at Endor
He did
and
pretty well
making
with it.
the top 8 with Hunt Down shows that it's still a viable deck.
Yeah,
And
has some matchups for sure, but maybe
Yeah.
with some of these new
honestly, like
helpers.
at this point, what deck doesn't have some matchups it doesn't want to see?
That's fair. Yeah, we do
Yeah.
have a pretty, there's a lot of decks that are in that top tier and a half or 2 tiers. So things you have to keep in mind.
I think with this set, there's so many decks out there that I do want to see. The only deck that I'm just like, well, I'm going to avoid making anything with is probably like WAP at this point.
Yeah, because of Maul.
Yeah. So
your next
one. Slip sliding away. So slip sliding away V will make ISB and bring him before me tier 1 decks.
Tier 1 is
that's a big statement.
That means like top.
That's like map. That's
like making top 8 at tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'm going to say swing and a miss, just because it might take it a while, and it'll improve those decks. Don't get me wrong, but maybe more to like those decks are kind of not on the radar at all. Mm-hmm. So if it just brings them up to tier 2 status, then that's already saying something for that. So I'm going to say swing and a miss, but with that sort of explanation.
I think ISB has something that it hasn't had in a long time, and that's the ability to get more force, because ISB hurts, especially against Throne Room, because it's limiting the amount of force that you get. So it's kind of slow. Now that it has that battleground, you can drop like.
I always thought ISB had a good matchup against Throne Room, but maybe that was just.
It depends on the ISB. Like.
Okay, right.
But yeah, I think ISB is still gonna be like a tier 1.5. Bring it before me. I think it's the redhead stepchild to Hunt Down. So, I mean, it has possibilities, but I mean, I still want to say, like, as long as people are want to play Hunt Down, and Hunt Down got a lot of toys now, I think Bring It Before Me is going to be on the back burner. So
one thing, also with Bring Him Before Me is with Legend out, like the Legend Bring Him Before Me interaction is not very good for the Bring Him Before Me player, because they still get to do whatever they want with Luke and place him out of play and do that stuff, and it doesn't interact with Bring Him Before Me at all.
Basically, they have to play the shield.
Right, and they use Leia or whatever instead of Luke, and so it's just it's not advantageous for Bring Him Before Me, and so and I don't love Bring Him Before Me, and there is good in him because of the auto win condition anyway. But I mean, I think ISB is going to benefit more than Bring It Before Me from slip sliding away, and also like just open-ended like Walker's decks, or just crazy Maul deck, Watto's Junkyard starts, just crazy stuff like that could make it into.
I wholeheartedly agree. And the big thing about Throne Room, or the big thing about like with the Throne Room and like the Bring It Before matchup was, and I was actually thinking about this at work, Bring It Before Me does not want to see Throne Room, because if they can get out and if you're playing like a battleground site that gives them like maybe 1 or 2 icons, they can go down to the Throne Room and make it so that you can't put your Emperor there.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty crazy for sure.
Pretty bad.
Pretty bonkers.
I mean, that still like leads them down to like the possibility of a beatdown, but
yeah, that could
I would rather not have that.
Could slow you down in a weird way.
Yeah. Okay, so you're up.
All right, so my third one is light side decks that either can't or don't really use rebels, like WAP, Hyperdrive, Agents in the Court, etc. We'll see a nice bump from the wild card v errata. So that I guess we'll say tier 2 status for those sort of decks.
Well, we already said that WAP is going to take a big hit. It's going to take a moderate hit, I will say that.
WAP doesn't like that Maul for sure, but
Hyperdrive really doesn't see a lot of space, and if they want to play space, Rick and the Queen's ship is going to be better anyways. And Agents in the Court, I think Agents in the Court is going to see a bump because of Tamtil, not because of the wild card.
I mean, Agents in the Court gets to start Yarno and then pull this.
And I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And people who were playing Agents of the Court were playing the wild card. So I don't want to say it's going to be they're going to see a bump, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh my god, we better watch out for these decks. But
yeah. All right, I'm going to say I'll say swing and a miss as well. But
okay.
So yours.
So Prophet will now be a tier 1 deck because of Tamtil and Hans Blaster. hit.
That one is pretty close to hit. Like, I mean, it was
Yeah.
already seeing some play. I was pretty surprised that it didn't see more play at Endor, but it already had, I think, 5 or 6 people playing it. So,
I
but
mean,
Tamtel and the Heavy Blaster make it pretty rad, and it already got the rendezvous point interrupt in the last set and stuff. So,
yeah.
tier 1 is always sort of hard to designate, but like it'll definitely get
I'm gonna
tier
say
one and a
this:
half
when
for
like
sure.
Phil and Johnny played at Worlds, and Johnny was playing his Prophet deck, I thought Prophet was really good then. Now it's just got even better with Saitor, with Rendezvous Point, with now Tamtel, and now Hans Blaster. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on
Prophet.
I would say if you're not ready for Prophet like the NPC or any of the other big events, you're not playing this game right.
That's fair. That's fair. Prophet always looks good in the hands of Johnny Chu, though. No matter
Anything
what.
anything looks good in the hand of Johnny Chu.
That's fair. All right. My next one is AOBS is now the top dark side deck after set 12 with its help from Quietly Observing, Aura Singh, Shadows of the Empire. Swing and a miss, it's a hit.
So I know you and I share these things before we actually come on the show, so we have a little bit of time. This is probably the biggest question that I actually had. Like I was looking at between the two of our stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, and I thought about it here and there. AOBS is really good, and I think it's just not as consistent as a deck like Map that can actually get out all it needs, and it's just consistent in now it's consistent in ground, it's consistent in space. AOBS, I mean, it doesn't have like you can pull the finalizer. Well, if you had a way to get out like the Finaline's Fist, like the finalizer, then I would say, oh yeah, hands down. Plus, I mean, with AOBS, you're probably almost never going to really be on the flip side for very long. So
yeah, it depends, but yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a hit for this one. I think AOBS was already in that tier 1 status, and then all it did was get a cheaper Shadows of the Empire, a really awesome EPP, and then the potential to use Quietly Observing, which, you know, that's more of an unknown, but just adding an Aura Sing with Blaster or two and saving 1 force in your on your first turn or whatever to pull your sights, like I think it only got a little bit better, and it was already doing pretty well. Like you said, there's a little more inconsistent in space in a deck like Map or something like that, or ROPS or something.
And I will say this: the biggest problem that I have with AOBS is its destinies are not the best. And
destinies are pretty bad, except for the 5 or 6 emperors that you run, and then like the thing with AOBS is it's a deck made for people who are really good at tracking, and you look at your whole force pile and you know exactly where each card is and stuff like that. So I mean, the destiny average is, like you said, kind of weird, but if you're playing it well, that doesn't come into play that much.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there was literally, I want to say it was a game, and I want to say my opponent was Ryan Searson, and he had me flipped for most of the game, but when I was not flipped, it's so easy to track with that deck. It really is. So yeah, I agree, but I still think Map just has like this much a little ahead at this point.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So my next one is light side mains will see a decrease at the NPC and during the OCS once this set comes out.
Okay. I'm gonna say swing and a miss, just because specifically NPC wise, people who play in the United States love to play themselves mains for light side. Maybe the European meta, OCS meta might be a little more diverse, but I mean, light side mains still have. I mean, TRM still got played in abundance at Endor, despite the Like My Father Before Me errata. Yeah. But I guess we also saw the the Luke Rebel Scout boost at the same time.
Yes.
So I still think light side mains are going to be like in a good spot. Dark side got some good things to help against it.
Yeah.
But light side mains will still be, about. If it sees a decrease, it'll be a slight decrease. I'm not like a not like crazy. Like we saw 11 TRMs or something, I think, or maybe it was like 8 TRMs at Endor. But like at the NPC, I expect to see just as many, if not more.
Well, I'll tell you what. No Idea is still a deck, and there was really nothing really in this set stands out as like a big threat to No Idea, with the exception of Vader's Anger.
Lord Maul with the lightsaber is pretty good against them.
True.
And yeah,
True.
Vader's anger is pretty good, and just
But
Darkseid getting better in general.
yeah, and I agree, and that's what I'm hoping for is that No Idea has like a little bit of a steady, not as played as much as it is once this set comes out. I think with No Idea still being probably the best light side deck out there because it does so much.
It
So
does do a lot.
I think now, granted, people are going to be ready for No Idea, so you might want to play something else. So you might want to pull like a There's Good in or There's Good in Him, Throne Room, Hitco.
Hitco.
You might want to bring those. And you're right. East Coast players do like to play their mains.
I mean, even
So,
just
we'll
USA, not even just East
Yeah.
Coast, just USA in general. But yeah, all right. So my next one is I think we each have 2 left.
Yeah, we each have 2 left.
So I put CRV or Slip Siding Away Walkers will be a tier 2 deck after set 12. Swing and a miss, or it's a hit. So we saw Veers as a card. We
Yeah.
saw obviously the Slip Siding Away. You could use that. I mean, you can't play Ice Storms or whatever.
Well,
but,
no, I mean, with Hoth,
use...
what Hoth walkers are you talking about? Or Slip Sliding Away walkers? Because you can't. There's no way to pull Hoth.
That's it. Maybe it's just CRV. So let's just go CRV walkers.
Yeah, I want to say I could see it as a tier 2. I mean, people do like their CRV walkers. They really do.
See, I'm not a huge. I've never played it that much, but I know a lot of people out there do.
Yeah.
And Veers seems pretty good. Like, he definitely gives that deck a speed boost in the first couple turns to get your 6th marker out, or if you already have it in your hand, then you can use it to get Blizzard Wand out. He goes twice free there. So I definitely see that being as a pretty sweet boost for that style of deck. I'm not sure if it's pretty much not on the map right now. So tier 2, maybe a little much, but I think we'll definitely see it'll play it a lot more for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is like it's going to put a lot. It's going to put a lot of cards on the table. Especially, it might have issues holding the system because light side space is still pretty good. So I don't know, like.
Yeah,
Chewie's still a card. Leia with Gunner is still a card. So I want to say it's going to be like a tier 2.5. So
all right,
that might be the highest it gets.
Next
we got a few more. So EBO is now a tier 3 because of the Ice Storm cancel.
Sure. Well, I don't know. I think still a decent deck. I just don't think it just has to play a little more fair. I think it can still stay at tier 2. So I'll say swing and a miss.
I'm going to say right now, today, it is a tier 3 deck. I think once people get some creativity and figure things out, it could go back to seeing it once here and there. So,
see, I just don't think the Ice Storm is that big of a deal for it. So,
but you said it. EBO wants to just say, okay, I'm sitting on the ground.
Yeah, because even without the Ice Storm, just Luke and Wedge are enough on their speeders to really prevent you from wanting to go there. But then the Ice Storm is just like that extra NPE gravy on the top.
So we each got one left, and then we're probably going to call it a night because it's it's been a little while.
We needed to be a little swifter in the first ones that were already spoiled.
Hey, you and I like to talk, so you got one left.
All right. Let's see. Here, there it is. Let's see. Lord Maul with lightsaber will outnumber EPP Maul in the OCS in March. I'm going to say, since you're drinking, I'm going to say it's a hit. Just because it sounds more fun.
I'm going to say swing and a miss, and the reason I'm saying swing and a miss is it's already March 4th. This set probably won't come out for at least another week. Because, I mean, I want to say the time frame is so, and people have already played. And EPP Maul is seeing a lot of play, so maybe next month, but it's still EPP Maul. He's so good.
All right. What's your last
one? So the last one is, Jerry, he went Jerry only played 2 OCS games last month. I got in all 12. He went 1-1. I got all 12 in. I mean, I went 5-7, but still, I got all 12 in.
I haven't played any so far. Have you played any?
I played 2. Ooh, wow. So mine is Jerry will actually end up better than me this month.
Swing and a miss. You'll probably will play more games and do better. then I will.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thought. So, Jerry, what size jersey do you wear?
I don't know. It's been a while since I
okay.
bought one. Probably XL
Okay, good, because
for a hockey jersey.
hockey.
If
Yeah,
you're gonna buy me a hockey jersey.
No, I'm not buying you. I'm gonna make you wear either a Crosby jersey or, I might not punish you and make you wear a Crosby jersey. Maybe I'll make you wear like a Fleury or somebody else like a Chris Kunitz.
Fair little.
Oh,
okay, whatever.
okay.
I think we're good here.
Okay, so
yeah,
I think that's good for tonight. I mean, we went for an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah, that was a bit long for me. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for joining us again for another episode. We hope
Yes.
you enjoyed seeing the rest of the set 12 cards.
Yep. So
Obviously, we have subject to change. Some of those ones might get changed in the next couple weeks as we find proofing errors or gameplay errors, things like that. So
all those
just
fun
don't.
things. And
not set in stone, but
yeah, and just remember, Monday nights are Chris Gogolin nights for his OCS review. He's been doing a lot of those, so same for those. The Gemp NPC is still going on, so stay look for that. The Constellation, I want to say, is going to be starting. Everybody, you still have 25 days to sign up for the NPC. There's still so many freaking slots. Get on your computer tonight and sign up for the NPC. It's literally the most fun event you can go to. If you haven't gone, go. Go out there. Sign up.
Definitely a good time.
Do it. I want to see 64 people at the NPC. If there's 64 people, I'm bringing something special.
All right, there you go.
Boom. And I'm not talking about, you know what? I'll make sure everybody gets multiple foils at the NPC.
All right, you heard it here. Multiple foils if we fill the bracket.
If there's 64, I want to see 64 people at the NPC.
All right.
If not,
all right,
nobody gets anything.
Okay, throwing the gauntlet down. All right, Dan, thanks for that. And thanks again, everybody, for being with us.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Chris Kelly, I'll mail you your stuff. Good night, everybody.
May the force be with you. All right.